guys, it's Dr. Jake. Welcome back to my channel. I wonder what Lucille Bluth would think of this channel.
It just makes me want to set myself on fire.
Mood. Today I'm going to react to the drinking episode of with Trixie and Katya. But before we start, I may be a real doctor, but I'm not your doctor, and nothing that I say should be taken as medical advice.
And I'm the full body rash you got from chugging Robitussin in 7th grade. Katya.
Many types of cough syrup do have alcohol in them, but it is not a good idea to chug them. They also have medicine in them, which can make you really sick.
The rest of us are literally mixing Gatorade with Gordon's or Fleischmann's, and you're like,
Goldschlager.
I've heard a lot of people say that low quality liquor gets you drunk faster, gets you drunk worse, gives you a worse hangover. Honestly, the biggest thing that you need to do if you don't want to get a hangover is just not overdrink.
We drank gallons of Carlo Rossi burgundy wine, and I spray paint vomited the whole f***ing bathroom.
Sorry guys, I didn't change. I just remembered something that I wanted to say after the fact. The reason that many people vomit after drinking too much alcohol is because the blood becomes very acidic. It's a state called alcoholic ketoacidosis, and in your stomach is a ton of acid. So what does your body do? It vomits to expel some of that acid and therefore make your blood more basic. It does work to help your body compensate a little bit, but ultimately what you need is time and to clear that alcohol out of your system. That being said, most people recover from alcoholic ketoacidosis without any kind of treatment, but it can get very severe and require a hospital stay.
Whiskey. Whiskey.
I used to drink whiskey,
Not
but
anymore?
turns out diarrhea is not for me. Because darker liquors are harder for your body to break down. Complex notes of fruit, floral, and nut in my butt.
Why? Why? Dark liquors are not harder to break down. That's not a thing. However, there is a compound called congeners in many darker liquors that's thought to increase hangover effects. Ethanol or alcohol is the same compound whether you drink it in bourbon, vodka, wine, beer, it doesn't matter. It's the other things in the alcohol that can potentially have effects on you and make your hangover worse. In fact, they did this super nifty study where they had young adults drink vodka one night and bourbon another night, and what they found was that the only real difference was that the hangover in people who drank bourbon was worse than that of the people who drank vodka. It's thought to be due to congeners that happens.
Spiders in my vagina? Whoo!
So I know I usually talk about things not to put in your butt, but I also wouldn't recommend putting spiders in your vagina. Unless the spiders have a flared base. No, I'm kidding, just don't put spiders in your vagina.
I don't really like to be drunk in drag.
When I started drag, I had to be 3 sheets to the wind before I even stepped
No
foot on stage.
way.
Absolutely.
Hold on. Where did that saying come from, 3 sheets to the wind?
I had to look this one up because I didn't know either. Apparently it's a boat thing. If your sheet is loose, it can't control the boat.
So I would go to the dressing room to start my makeup. I'd have 2 cocktails. Then as I finished my makeup and had a cigarette, I'd have 1 more cocktail. Over the course of the night, so basically it worked out like my 3rd number on stage was just about staying upright.
I want to just take a moment to talk about what qualifies as binge drinking. I think most people, when they think of binge drinking, think of having 17 drinks at a time. It's actually less. It's categorized by gender. For a man, 4 or more drinks in a night is binge drinking. For a woman, 3 or more drinks in a night is binge drinking. I'm sorry, ladies, it's unfair. It's just how it's medically classified. I can't fix that. That being said, have I had more than 3 drinks in a night? Yeah, of course I have. You can spread those drinks out over hours if you're not slamming shots. This channel is about medicine, but sometimes I don't necessarily agree with the medicine. Don't tell my boss.
They call it liquid courage.
Yeah.
Medically, the effect of alcohol is that it decreases your inhibitions. So in other words, if you're someone who wouldn't perform drag before drinking, you may be able to suppress those inhibitions with alcohol and then, like Katya, do drag after drinking. Doing drag is a pretty harmless inhibition to lower. The bigger problem to me is sex. If you're drunk, you can't consent to sex. Now granted, not everyone who's had a drink or 2 can't consent to sex, right? It's all about capacity or the ability to make informed decisions. There are people who retain capacity after having 10 drinks. However, there are also people who do not have capacity to make informed decisions after 3 drinks. Unfortunately, our court systems tend to blame people who were drinking when they get sexually assaulted. However, if you're having sex with someone who's been drinking, you need to be mindful about whether they're able to consent to your advances, whether they're actually able to consent to sex, and in many cases, it makes sense just to wait. Don't have sex with someone who's drunk. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but my understanding is having sex with somebody who cannot consent to sex is the same as having sex with somebody who can consent to sex but chooses not to.
I was on a date once, our third date, and I was like, let's get a drink, and I'm gonna show him how strong I am.
yeah, drink him under the
a
table.
lot. Cut to me puking in his apartment.
One of the reasons that it's important not to overdrink is that if you're drunk and you vomit, you may actually breathe in your vomit and develop what we call an aspiration pneumonia. Not fun, just as bad as real pneumonia, except you were drinking and that's why you got it. Generally, I see aspiration pneumonia in like old people who just can't swallow correctly. So when I see it in a young person who just got it from drinking, I admit it sort of makes me sad.
You know, there's a lot of adverse effects to drinking. It's really not great for you. Not even in moderation is it really great for you.
There have been some studies that have associated mild drinking, like a glass of wine a night, with increased lifespan. Essentially, the theory is that people who do just a little bit of drinking every night will likely live longer than those who don't drink at all, who will live much longer than the people who binge drink regularly. And that makes sense, because alcohol can cause liver failure, it can cause, aspiration pneumonia like we just talked about. It can cause kidney damage if you get dehydrated because you're vomiting too much. It can cause neurological issues. Wernicke's encephalopathy and seizures are the most severe forms of neurological injury that I've seen. So I'm not going to tell you not to drink alcohol, but just be careful. Don't overdrink.
You know, drinking accommodates a lot of sexual behaviors.
No.
Oh god, they did a study on this too, of course. They left some participants sober and had the others drink up to an alcohol of about 0.1%, which is somewhere between 2 to 4 drinks for most people. And then the language of this study is sort of funny. They said, maximize! And they had these people try to get an erection. The people who were intoxicated were able to get erections, but it just took them longer. So yeah, still able to get hard, it's just gonna take you a while, so your date's probably gonna leave before you actually get to consummate. They've also done some studies that show that people with alcohol dependence syndrome have a higher risk of erectile dysfunction. So I could extrapolate from that first study that if you drink more than 2 to 4 drinks, that you'll be more likely to have erectile dysfunction. But I won't, because we don't have that data.
So listen, underage drinking, whatever. Drinking and driving, no.
Never.
Mama, no.
At this stage in the game, there's no reason you can't find a ride home.
Drinking and driving, definitely bad. Alcohol decreases your reaction time, so let's say that somebody just careens out of nowhere, goes through a red light, you're not going to be able to stop in time to not hit them. It's really important that if you've had anything to drink, you do your best to find a ride home. Take an Uber, take a Lyft, whatever you need to do not to drive after drinking, please do it. Remember, that Uber or Lyft is going to cost like, what, $20? $30?
I mean, it's one banana, Michael. What could it cost? $10?
I would walk at least 5 miles rather than be drunk at the wheel. I've seen some shit.
I abstain, but if you want to drink, if you want to guzzle Robitussin, I'm your lady.
Please don't guzzle Robitussin. Please don't guzzle Robitussin.
And if you guys ever see me out in the club and you want to talk to me, do it the right way. Bring a vodka soda.
In a funnel.
Hey, butt chugging?
Butt chugging.
Oh my god.
Yeah, butt chugging is a thing. Alcohol is absorbed readily by the lining of your rectum. However, alcohol is also pretty harsh, so it can damage the lining of your rectum. Speaking of that, be on the lookout for my douching video later this week.
I know a guy who soaked a tampon in Stoli vodka and put it up his butt and got a chemical burn.
See? Well, that was it. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. God, why do I do this?